Continuing with Genesis 6:1. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the distinguished men saw that the daughters of men were fair, and they took them wives of all whom they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always strive on account of man, for that he also is flesh, and his days shall be 120 years. There were Nephilim in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the distinguished men came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. The same were mighty men of old, men of renown. And the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that all the impulse of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord repented that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast and creeping things and birds of the air, for I repent that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations. And Noah walked with God. And Noah begot 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japhet. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted its way upon the earth. And God said to Noah, The end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. Room shalt thou make in the ark, and shalt pitch it within and without with pitch. And this is the fashion of which thou shalt make it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, the breadth of it 50 cubits, and the height of it 30 cubits. A window shalt thou make to the ark, and to a cubit shalt thou finish it above. And the door of the ark shalt thou set in its side. With lower, second, and third stories shalt thou make it. And, behold, I will bring the flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, in which is the breath of life from under heaven, and everything that is on the earth shall die. But with thee will I establish my covenant, and thou shalt come into the ark, thou and thy sons, and thy wife, and thy sons' wives with thee, and every living thing of all flesh. 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark, to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female, of birds after their kind, and of cattle after their kind, and of every creeping thing of the earth after its kind. 2 of every sort shall come to thee to keep them alive. And take thou to thee of all food that is eaten, and gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them. So Noah did according to all that God commanded him. Thus he did. And the Lord said to Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, male and female, and of beasts that are not clean by twos, male and female, of birds of the air also by sevens, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth. For in another 7 days I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. And Noah did according to all that the Lord commanded him. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, into the ark, because of the waters of the flood, of clean birds, and of beasts that are not clean, and of birds, and of everything that creeps upon the earth. There went in two and two to Noah into the ark, male and female, as God had commanded Noah. And it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, on that same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken open, and the windows of heaven were open, and the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. In the selfsame day Noah and Shem and Ham and Japhet, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them, entered into the ark, and they and every beast after its kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every sort. And they went in to Noah into the ark, 2 and 2 of all flesh, in which is the breath of life. And they that went in, male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him. And the Lord shut him in, and the flood was 40 days upon the earth. And the waters increased and bore up the ark, and it was raised above the earth. And the waters prevailed, and were increased greatly upon the earth. And the ark went upon the face of the waters. And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth, and all the high mountains that were under the whole heaven were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh perished that moved upon the earth, both of birds, and of cattle, and of beasts, and of every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth, and all mankind, and all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was on the dry land, died. And he destroyed every living substance which was upon the face of the ground, both man and cattle, and creeping things, and the birds of the heaven. They were destroyed from the earth, and Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. And God remembered Noah and every living thing, and all the cattle that were with him in the ark. And God made a wind to pass over the earth, and the waters were assuaged, and the fountains also of the deep, and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained, and the waters receded from the earth continually. And after the end of 150 days the waters were abated, and the ark rested in the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, upon the mountains of Ararat. And the waters decreased continually until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st day of the month, were the tops of the mountains seen. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days that Noah opened the window of the ark which he had made, and he sent forth the raven, which went forth to and fro, until the waters were dried up from off the earth. Also he sent forth the dove from him, to see if the waters were abated from the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned to him into the ark, for the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put out his hand and took her, and pulled her into him into the ark. And he waited yet another 7 days, and again he sent forth the dove out of the ark. And the dove came in to him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. And he waited yet another 7 days, and sent forth the dove, which returned not again to him any more. And it came to pass in the 601st year, in the first month, on the first day of the month, that the waters were dried up from off the earth. And Noah removed the covering of the ark, and looked, and behold, the face of the ground was dry. And in the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth dried. That's Genesis up to 8:15.